You walked past your plant this morning and something looked wrong. The leaves are drooping. Maybe they are turning yellow. Maybe the soil looks bone dry or suspiciously soggy. And now you are standing there wondering, why are my potted plants dying? And is it already too late to save them? Here is the truth. In most cases, it is not too late. Most dying indoor plants can be fully revived if you correctly identify what is wrong and act fast. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 10 most common reasons potted plants die, how to diagnose exactly which one is killing your plant right now, and the specific step-by-step fix for each one. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why your indoor plant is dying and precisely how to revive it. So stay with me, because the answer to saving your plant is in this video. And I will show you one cause near the end of this video that most plant owners never even think to check, yet it is silently killing thousands of indoor plants in apartments and homes right now. Before we go through each cause, here is the most important thing to understand. Your plant is always communicating with you. Through its leaves, its soil, its roots, and its overall posture. Learning to read these signals is the difference between guessing and actually solving the problem. As we go through each cause in this video, I want you to physically go to your plant and check each symptom as I describe it. Do not just watch. Actively diagnose your plant in real time so that by the end of this video, you know exactly what is wrong and exactly what to do next. Overwatering is the single most common reason indoor potted plants die, and it is also the most misunderstood. Most people assume that more water means a healthier plant. The opposite is true. When soil stays constantly wet, the tiny air pockets between soil particles fill with water. Plant roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. Without air in the soil, roots suffocate and begin to rot. A rotting root system cannot deliver water or nutrients to the plant, even when there is plenty of both available. So ironically, an overwatered plant often shows the same symptoms as an underwatered one, wilting and drooping, because the roots can no longer function. How to diagnose overwatering. Push your finger 2 to 3 centimeters into the soil. If it feels wet or even damp, and your plant is struggling, overwatering is likely. Check the drainage holes at the bottom of the pot. If water is sitting there and not draining, that confirms it. You may also notice a sour or musty smell coming from the soil, and leaves that turn yellow and fall off, while still soft, rather than crispy. How to fix it. Stop watering immediately. Move the plant to a brighter, well-ventilated spot to help the soil dry out faster. If the problem is severe, remove the plant from its pot. Shake off as much wet soil as possible, and examine the roots. Healthy roots are white or light tan and firm. Rotting roots are brown or black and mushy. Cut these off cleanly with sterilized scissors. Repot into fresh dry soil with good drainage, and do not water for at least a week. Going forward, always check the soil moisture before watering. The top 2 to 3 centimeters should feel completely dry before you water again. Underwatering is easier to diagnose than overwatering, but people still get the fix wrong. When a plant is severely underwatered, simply pouring water on top of the soil often does not work, because the soil has pulled away from the sides of the pot and dried into a hard block. Water runs straight down the gap between the soil and pot and out the drainage holes without ever reaching the roots. How to diagnose underwatering. Dry, cracked soil pulling away from the pot edges is the clearest sign. Leaves will feel thin, papery, and crispy at the tips and edges, rather than soft and yellow like overwatering. The pot will feel noticeably light when you lift it. How to fix it. Do not just pour water on top. Instead, place the entire pot in a basin or bucket of water and let it soak from the bottom up for 30 to 45 minutes. The soil will slowly reabsorb water through the drainage holes from below, rehydrating evenly throughout the root zone. Once the top of the soil feels moist, remove the pot and allow excess water to drain completely before returning it to its spot. Light is plant food. Without the right amount of it, a plant cannot photosynthesize, cannot produce energy, and slowly starves to death, regardless of how well you water and feed it. Signs of too little light. Leaves lose their deep green color and become pale or washed out. Stems grow long and leggy as the plant stretches desperately toward any available light source. New leaves come in smaller than older ones. Growth slows or stops entirely. Signs of too much direct light. Leaves develop brown scorched patches or bleached white areas where direct sun has burned through them. Edges and tips crisp up rapidly. How to fix it? Research your specific plant's light requirements. Most indoor plants prefer bright indirect light rather than direct sun or deep shade. Move the plant closer to a window for more light, or pull it back from a window getting intense direct afternoon sun. For apartment dwellers with limited natural light, a simple grow light placed above the plant for 12 to 14 hours daily can completely transform a struggling plant within weeks. Poor drainage is different from overwatering. It is a structural problem with the pot itself rather than your watering habits. Even if you water perfectly, a pot with no drainage holes or blocked drainage will trap water at the bottom, creating a stagnant wet layer that suffocates roots over time. How to diagnose poor drainage? Check the bottom of your pot. Are there drainage holes? If not, water has nowhere to go and is accumulating at the root zone. Even pots with holes can have drainage blocked by compacted soil or a layer of pebbles that has sealed over time. How to fix it? Always use pots with drainage holes. This is non-negotiable for container gardening. If you love a decorative pot without holes, use it as an outer cover only, and keep your plant in a plain nursery pot with drainage holes inside it. After watering, always empty any water that collects in the saucer within 30 minutes. Not all soil is created equal, and using the wrong type for your plant is a slow death sentence. Heavy garden soil compacts in pots, suffocating roots and blocking drainage. Succulent and cactus soil drains too fast for moisture-loving tropical plants. How to diagnose wrong soil? Does your soil feel heavy, dense, and clay-like? Does water pool on the surface for minutes before absorbing? These are signs the soil is too compacted for a healthy root system. How to fix it? Repot into a high-quality potting mix, appropriate for your plant type. For most indoor plants, a light, well-draining potting mix works perfectly. For succulents and cacti, use a specialized cactus mix. For tropical plants like monsteras and pothos, add perlite to your regular potting mix to improve aeration and drainage. Potted plants cannot access nutrients from the ground the way garden plants can. They are entirely dependent on whatever nutrients exist in their small volume of potting soil, and over time, those nutrients get used up or washed out through watering. How to diagnose nutrient deficiency? Yellowing leaves with the veins remaining green is a classic sign of iron or magnesium deficiency. Overall pale, washed-out color across the whole plant suggests nitrogen deficiency. Stunted growth and dark purple tints on leaves can indicate phosphorus deficiency. How to fix it? Feed your plant with a balanced liquid fertilizer during its growing season, spring and summer. For apartment gardeners, worm castings from your vermicomposting bin mixed into the top layer of soil is one of the most effective and natural fertilizers available. Feed every 2 to 4 weeks during growing season and stop feeding entirely in winter when most plants rest. Apartments create unique temperature challenges that outdoor gardens never face. Air conditioning vents, heating units, cold drafts from windows, and sudden temperature swings can all stress indoor plants to the point of decline. And most plant owners never connect the dots between the vent above their plant and the declining health they are seeing. How to diagnose temperature stress? Sudden leaf drop without obvious signs of over or underwatering. Leaves curling inward or developing brown patches near edges. A plant that was thriving suddenly declines after you turn on air conditioning for summer or heating for winter. How to fix it? Move plants away from direct air conditioning or heating vents. Keep most indoor plants away from cold windowsills in winter. The glass conducts cold and can damage tropical plants even without frost. Most indoor plants prefer stable temperatures between 15 and 27 degrees Celsius and struggle with sudden swings outside that range. Pests are one of the most common reasons indoor potted plants decline, and because many pests are tiny or hide on the undersides of leaves, plant owners often do not notice them until significant damage has already been done. Common apartment plant pests. Spider mites create fine webbing on leaves and cause tiny yellow speckled dots across leaf surfaces. Fungus gnats are small flies hovering around your soil. Their larvae feed on roots in wet soil. Scale insects look like small brown bumps on stems and leaves. Mealybugs appear as white fluffy cotton-like clusters in leaf joints. How to diagnose pests. Turn leaves over and examine the undersides closely. This is where most pests hide. Check stem joints and new growth tips. Look for webbing, sticky residue on leaves called honeydew, or tiny moving dots. How to fix it. For spider mites and mealybugs, wipe leaves down thoroughly with a damp cloth, then spray with a solution of water and a few drops of neem oil. For fungus gnats, allow soil to dry out completely between waterings, since larvae cannot survive in dry soil. For scale, scrape off manually and treat with neem oil spray. Repeat treatment every 7 days for at least 3 weeks to break the pest life cycle completely. That covers the first 9 causes of dying potted plants. In part 2, I will cover low humidity, root-bound pots, and give you a complete step-by-step recovery plan to revive any dying plant regardless of what went wrong. Make sure you subscribe so you do not miss it.